Welcome to Film Study, an All American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the things. Quick thing before we hop in, I got asked the question like if I want to support the podcast, how do I do that? So my Cash App handle is down below in the description box. It's just like a cash tag. LexiRedmond, my name. But yeah, so that's that. If you'd like to support, you don't need to, but if you want to. And here's Carmen and Mai's review and recap of 412 Babies and Fools. Let's get into it. Number one, snaps for Daniel Ezra directing.
Yes, he did that.
He did it. And can I just get my little blurb out on this real quick? Something that I loved about his directing this time around is that like truly he brought different angles to the show. Like usually I think directors typically play it pretty safe, like it's a network TV show and different things like that. But he, and I'm not just talking about the Olivia scene for all of those who were screaming about the legs in the beginning scene. I know who you are, but yeah, like that scene, but also just in general, he would come in, like even in Slausen's Cafe, he would come in from the ceiling and then zoom in and different things like that. So I loved the direction, and I just loved coming in at different angles before zooming in on and doing like what's like a the standard shot to focus on. It's like a profile shot, not profile, but I can't remember the shot right now. But it's like standard because it's a single cam show. Not me getting into my nerdy language, but because it's a single cam
Yeah,
show,
don't
they
lose us.
typically what I'm saying is network TV, single cam show. They typically don't do wide shots. Like you'll see that they'll do a quick wide shot for people, and you can see everybody, and then they'll zoom in on people's faces, right?
hmm
So what Daniel did is he didn't just do like a standard wide shot, but he did a wide shot from like different places. Like I said, though the ceiling one was really cool, like doing the ceiling and then zooming in and just coming in at different angles. So I really enjoyed it. So shout out to you.
Big shout out.
um, and with that being said, what were your thoughts on the episode? And I think Carrie Gutenberg, which I love her writing in general, like she's one of my favorite writers. As y'all know, 306 come through.
Oh, she wrote this one. Oh,
I
okay.
think so. I think so. Let me check that, but I think she wrote it. And yeah, no, I'm just like very pleased.
It was definitely a good episode. It was. It was really given. It was a good episode. Like, I don't know. I can't even recall any dry moments like that. So, it was definitely a good episode. You know how usually every episode have that. Definitely even one dry moment. I can't really recall it for this episode. It was definitely
Yeah.
a good
Yeah,
one.
and I totally got the right or wrong. It's actually Jamil Turner who wrote it, so shout out to you.
Yes.
Honestly, just like all of the writers, shout out to you. But like Jamil Turner, you did your thing. Um, so yes. So like right off the bat, let's talk about the Coop preach situation. But like as an intro, I don't even usually do this. Maybe I should start doing this more. But there is this one tweet that really just spoke to my soul about the whole Coop preach situation before we get started. Someone said this was Black Watcher, that's BLK Watcher. This Mo shooting storyline should have been wraps in the same amount of time it took Coop to recover. Like, give it to God already.
Can I give it a hand clap to the two?
Can we
Yes.
get
Say that.
yes,
Say
yes
that.
at Black Watcher because
Yes.
facts. Just give it to God.
Like, kill it already. Like, come on. It's over. It's dead. The Mo, the Tyrone, they grandma. Who just let it
We're
go.
tired of
Yes,
it.
we are.
But here's the thing is that like it touched the most amount of people this time and I was like so from like the regular people, like Amina and Patience, of course, but it's even touching Dylan. Dylan ain't even been in the show, like,
Right?
and he's wasting time, his precious screen time, when we could get him interacting with Spencer and Olivia or something, and you're wasting his precious screen time on this stupid, ridiculous situation.
Well, at least we got the what's the name from him, the whole comic book thing. At least we got that
No, that's what I'm
going.
saying. Yeah, yeah. So really
Yeah.
quick, that Dylan is killing the comic book
And
game.
I just want to know
King Crenshaw.
why did they make Dylan notice Chucky child? Like Dylan didn't need to be friends with her. I'm sorry. I know she's a child. She's going through a lot, but I don't trust her. Um. So keep her away from my Dylan, please. Keep her away from Dylan.
Yeah, just let Dylan run his little side business in peace. Like, let him make his comic books with his little input from oh my gosh, why did I forget his name?
Darnell.
Darnell.
Woo!
But yes, Darnell. Yeah, he's probably getting some input from Darnell and just living it up. Like, he doesn't need to touch this storyline. But yeah, just Coop is stressing out with everyone out at this point. And
She been. It's tiring.
right, and so like we said, like Dylan was in it, but yeah, let's start with Dylan. Let's start with Dylan because Dylan was making his comic books, and you know, he thought he was just going about his day, thought he was helping Amina get a ride to school, turn up, he's watching Coop get arrested at the end of it. Like, I know
Like,
that's jumping so far, but
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like,
you jumped
why?
too much. You jumped.
I did, but here, because I wanted to focus on Dylan real quick, and it's just like, honestly, Dylan has not been there.
He hasn't.
And so why put him in these situations where he's watching a family member get arrested, like off the bat? Like, and why I started with that is because I'm just tired of this storyline. Yes,
Just
Coop
get
has been
rid of it
arrested. Like,
again.
again, and it's just like, that's how done I am with this. Like, I know it was the majority of the show, and I'm like, I just want to get it out of the way. But
Exactly.
besides Dylan, um, Laura was helping preach. They had Laura walking all over creation, taking care of Amina. Coop, number one, Coop asking, like, do you think, to Olivia, do you think your mom? Do you think your mom could handle Preach's case? I was over here like,
Listen,
no, I was screaming at the
listen,
TV.
listen. Speaking of tweets, as earlier, I see someone tweet and says that Spencer is gonna owe Laura some of his NFL money for all these people.
No, legitimately,
Like,
legitimately,
pay her, and not just pay her extra because I swear Preach was so
give her a blank
ungrateful.
check.
But Preach is
It,
so ungrateful. Like,
no, I know.
oh, like, have you
Well, and
lost
that's
your
the
mind?
thing. Well, yeah, exactly. And I was just like, stop asking Laura for ish.
Especially with people that's not gonna appreciate her. Like, no, no.
The fact that he didn't even thank her, and then he went on to a little when she's coming to visit him and trying to figure out his case. Right? He's like,
Mhm.
he goes on this like rant about protecting black women, and I said, protecting black women.
Listen, listen, Linda. I was like, Laura, get your stuff and go. Get your stuff and go. He think he got it. He think
What
he
are
got
you
it
talking
handled.
about? But
Listen,
also, like, what are you talking about protecting black
I
women?
don't
Like, what
know.
you were in a gang. What are you
Listen,
talking about?
I don't know what he was talking about. I get like, okay, who you protecting? Like, is he protecting Coop or
Coop,
black women?
Coop.
Well, okay.
That's one black woman. Period. Like, what are you talking about? Just because you done got a job at the school doesn't mean you can recreate your whole life.
Listen, I don't. And what was his purpose of saying it to like coming at Laura like that? Like she came to help, and you just letting her know like, oh, I'll be out of here. Oh, what happened to Coop? Give me puppet out eyes. Like, you know what, Laura, you don't got to take this. Go, get up and go. Leave him and he got itself right there in that seat. Oh,
To be fair, though, he was going to accept it. He was just like, maybe it's just my due. I'm like, I don't.
he was gonna accept what? What he was gonna
Look,
accept?
Look, Kareem is an excellent actor.
He is, and
Giving
that
you your
pissed me
flowers,
off.
Kareem. I'm just like I just want them to utilize you in a different way.
Absolutely, because you first you came for Layla, now you coming for Laura. Preach. You better.
He came for Spencer too, and it's just like
People
anyway.
trying to
So with
help
that,
him. I'm starting to. I'm
exactly.
starting to understand the friendship between him and Coop more and more. I get it. I
That's
get it.
true. He was super
Yeah,
ungrateful, but
yeah, I get it.
regardless, regardless of him being ungrateful, I love how we just went. We started off on 10. I started off on 10. But that's how much this storyline irks my soul. Uh, but anyway, regardless of like him being ungrateful, Laura, was helping Amina, was like taking care of Amina. She was giving law and order in that jail cell. I said, "Come through, Monet, give us law and order." And she got Preach released because she found out that like a picture that was taken was actually a live video. So Laura is just send Laura a blank check, please.
Period. Exactly. Because you know she gonna be somebody lawyer in the future. So yeah, a
Right.
blank chat would do. A blank chat would do.
Blank check will do. But again, speaking about all of the things that Laura did, one of them was helping Amina. Um, Look, shout out to you, little girl.
You gotta say it again. You're a great actor, which is tired of your storyline.
I'm just tired. Laura is tired. I'm tired.
I
And
am.
here's the thing with like I'm tired of Coop and Patience. Like how many times because they didn't even really have a story. It's been honestly it's been their same storyline. And Coop being like, "You don't support me," and Patience being like, "What do you mean I don't support you? Of course I support you. Of course I'm on your side." And then we hear, "Oh, let's have a fresh start." How many times are we gonna hear a fresh start, Coop?
And the most listen, and the most reset buttons in the world for Coop. Like I'm so tired.
How many
Free
times
patient.
we gotta hear fresh start? I'm
Free
tired.
patient. I'm about to get me a free patient shirt because I'm tired. Like free her. Free her from this misery
Free
relationship.
her. And Coop is just gonna and here's the like thing that's getting really, really annoying about Coop, right? Patience said she was just like when they found out and they were talking to Spencer and Olivia about Preach getting arrested. Um, when they found all of that out, uh, Patience was just like, you cannot raise Amina, right? And Coop was like, Huffing, well,
Like you literally just found somewhere to live 2 episodes ago. Yeah, like
literally, and you can't pay the bills.
exactly, exactly. You don't know what to do with yourself.
Exact what facts. You don't even have a job. Like we just look, you don't got nothing going on. Patience already told you that. And so she was like, you cannot raise a Amita. And the fact that Coop even like it wasn't even a verbal disagreement as much as it was like a nonverbal disagreement and being like, we gotta figure this out and blah 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 blah. But it's just here's what's grating about her. She says all this to Spencer, Olivia, and Patience. Yet when Laura is talking to Coop, the very same one that was just like, "Can you take on this case?" Laura is just like, "I actually have to go do my job, so can you watch Amina really quickly?" And Coop
She's
is
like,
like, "No,
she's not gonna want to stay with
what?"
you. She don't want to stay with her.
Like all of this stress. That's how you know I'm angry. Is when I'm like, or like,
Mhm.
all of this stress for how many episodes? Patience is sick and tired of you just going with the beat and doing this and that, and all of this like bluster that Coop was doing in the first part of the season regarding Amina. And Laura asked you to watch her for 5 minutes,
She was worried about how Amina was not gonna like it and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah.
and
Just
I'm just like,
yeah.
tired. And then not Amina being like, do this for me or I'll scream. Like I'm tired. I'm
Oh my
tired, but
god, she did.
regardless, Coop finally tells Amina the truth, which they should have told her way earlier. And look, I love Kareem, and he was, from his character's perspective, I think he was saying they wanted to protect her innocence. How is it protecting her innocence when she thought Coop shot her mom?
Listen. That was just. I'm over the whole
I
story
guess it's
now.
because her dad and like both of her parents, but in the
And it would
same
have been
way
worse
that
for.
Coop,
Yeah, it would have been.
yeah, in the same way that Coop explained it finally, like they could have just done that. Like,
I think okay with that I understand because it's like it's already hard enough for her to lose her mom, but to find out she lost her mom because her dad killed her, that's a whole nother level of.
listen, I completely agree, but was it really better for them to just say that on the outright
Listen, what
at
was
the
better?
outset?
What was better was to let this story die a long time ago. That's what was better.
Give it to God. Just give it to God. Just give it to God. And look, we haven't even, as much as I want to stop talking about this, we haven't even reached the other person that this affected, Jabari. Jabari witnesses preach getting arrested at the school.
What is okay? But wait a minute, like, cause I don't understand Grace's statement on that, saying that it traumatized
We're
Jabari.
gonna get to Grace in a second. We gonna get no,
Why? But how? No, I just need to know that part because you brought up Jabari. How did it traumatize him? Because
because we're going to Grace next. We're going to Grace
okay,
next.
okay, go ahead, go ahead.
But to answer your question though, Jabari like instantly Jabari thought he was being arrested. Like he looked
That's not,
very scared. He put his hands up when the cops came in and was like he was prepared to go to jail for whatever he didn't even know.
but he wasn't
And so that's what
traumatized. That come from
yeah,
experience.
Carmen.
I'm sorry. Go
That boy
ahead.
was traumatized though.
He
I'm
was
with her on that
not.
point.
He's not
Are you
traumatized.
serious?
He's so
It's
used to. Listen, you got to
it's a
remember.
hold
But
on, it's a trauma, it's a trauma reaction. Even get like yeah, yes, his history, but also it's a trauma reaction. He's gotten back on the right path, like everything is settled. Like it's I concur that it's a trauma reaction to just look and like trigger warning, but like just like we like with cops, like it's we have trauma react, like why do we get so tense? That's a trauma reaction.
I understand that, but I feel like okay, so when we first got introduced to Jabari, right? Every time they came into that school, they came to bother him. So I feel like it was just like he was like, "Ah, Lord, here they come again." I don't feel like it was like the way that Grace speaking
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get what I'm saying? I felt like
Like
that's
it
what
wasn't
it
like
was.
something special. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't something that was like, "Oh my God!" Like it was more like it was like a man because every time
See,
we
I
were
didn't.
to him, they was
I
coming
did get the
for
fear
him.
though. I did get the fear though. But
Oh,
I understand what you're
absolutely.
saying and I agree.
Yeah.
And I think we're both right. Is that like it's from his experience, and I also think like his experience breeds like a traumatic reaction. So Grace like pushed that out the wazoo and used that as an excuse for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Exactly what she did.
right, right. Um, and so yeah. So let's switch to Grace. Let's switch to Grace. Um,
Mhm.
So it was not. I
Shame.
am wrong. See, I'm not a writer on the show. I am wrong sometimes with my predictions. It was not Grace who was uh, um, or trying out to be the principal, but it was actually Mrs. Lawson. It was Mrs. Lawson, Miss Lawson.
Why are you saying like
Because did anyone notice that Tay Diggs just said it in the same way that
oh
he said
goodness.
Richard Lawson in Brown Sugar?
No, I didn't.
Come through, Brown Sugar callback. I
Oh
know
goodness.
the person who wrote this literally did it just so that Tay could say Regina Lawson in the same way that he said Richard Lawson.
Oh goodness. I didn't catch that one. Okay.
It
Got
was
you.
it was it was quite a funny callback. But
Mhm.
regardless, the principal search was being conducted. They found a new principal. It was Regina Lawson. And look, I'm sorry, audience. I'm gonna take on this cause. I'm gonna take on this cause because Miss Lawson, number one, qualifications. Number two, experience.
As you gotta keep talking.
woman said, I've already been assistant principal. I've been in the school system for, what did she say, decades, 2 decades or something like that.
A
Like,
long
we
time.
love someone with experience going into school because it's not, I want what's best for the kids. And
Mhm.
I'm putting my hat behind Regina Lawson. Look, Billy can get in his graces and his qualifications and experience by being assistant principal.
I agree.
Okay. He
I
can
agree.
be assistant principal, but Miss Lawson needs to be the principal. And I'm sorry, just because he brought a cool tutor, like being a principal involves more than just bringing a really good tutor to the school.
Exactly. It's like he brought preacher to school, but it ain't like he trained preacher. Not like preacher pretty much took over. Like I got
Facts.
this. Like I got this. So you didn't do no instruction. You didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously it was Spencer that told you to go for him. So you still ain't do nothing but listen to Spencer. That's what you.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And here's what bothered me, even though I'm throwing my hat behind Miss Lawson, right? Here's what
Mhm.
bothered me. Grace didn't care about the principal search in the first place, period.
Mhm.
And Billy didn't care about being principal. At least we're seeing Billy admit his change and say, like, at first I didn't want to do this and blah, 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 blah. But Grace, why do you care about this when you had to be forced into this principal search? No one's talking about that. And I need to talk about it.
Grace, I'm like Grace. This whole storyline with Grace, I'm over it. I don't get it. It's like, what, Billy that deep? Is Billy that deep for her?
Apparently so. And here's the thing is like again, so Spencer and Olivia, and we're gonna get to them in a second, but Spencer and Olivia were like talking. They had a cute little side by side, sort of parallel of Spencer talking to Grace and Olivia talking to Billy
Mm-hmm.
about this whole principal search thing. Because Grace has made it very clear in front of Olivia several times.
What,
In
that
front
she
of
want her
Olivia and
dad?
Spencer, she does not want your dad. I do not want your dad. Thank goodness
You
for Olivia
principal.
like defending her dad. But honestly, the first time it happened, I was just like, okay, like that's awkward. But the second time it happened at the end, when she was just like, you proved me wrong or whatever, and then he was just like, she was like, but I'm still not gonna support.
Yeah, and she didn't want to talk about it and nothing. She just,
But can we talk about how I honestly felt like that was disrespectful? Like she didn't need to say that at that moment in front of Spencer and Olivia like that. I just didn't think that needed to be said.
um, I don't
Like
think
she
it's
could have just
disrespectful.
kept it. It was a backhanded compliment. She could have just kept it at you did a good job and like not
Well,
talked about the
but
principal
she
search.
said you did a good job, and then Billy asked her, does that mean I got your vote?" And then she spoke on it. She didn't just throw it out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like she just could have sidestepped. That's an easily sidestepped. She was just like, we'll see. Like she didn't have to. I don't know. I'm still gonna be on that hill of like she
I
didn't
can't give
have
her
to
that
say it.
because Billy asked her. Billy asked her. Now, if she would just threw it out there, then I say, yeah, I agree. But Billy asked her, "Does that mean we got your
But I
vote?" And she's
still
like,
think there's like a level of I don't know. There's a level of respect. Like she didn't even in the tone in which she said it. I just don't think that she needed to do all that.
"Oh yeah, she
But that's just
definitely said
me.
it with extra. She definitely was extra with it." But
But that's what I'm saying. She could have found a nicer way, in like a more nonchalant way. She didn't even have to tell him whether she supported him or not. Like, okay, whatever. She's being honest, but she could have just said like, "We'll see," and left it at that. Like, she didn't have to be like, "I'm not going to
but that's
support
not.
you
But that's
in
not
front
Grace.
of your daughter."
But that's not Grace style. Grace
No, I
always
know, but I'm just saying,
yeah.
like, it didn't sit right with me because she was doing too much the whole entire episode.
She was already aggravated. You was aggravated with her already. That's all that was.
Yeah, I was aggravated already with her, and I still think she could have said it in a nicer way. Um, but yeah, yeah. So she did that, and the whole reason that they gave is because she's unsettled with change, and because she's becoming an empty nester, which
Well, what do I have to do with
she's
Billy
not
and the
be but also
principal?
like she's not becoming an empty nester. She still has Dylan. Even if he's a kid, he's still going to be in her house. So I don't know why they gave the empty nester reason, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, they say because Dylan goes like he's not at home as much, so
But
I guess
even
that's what they.
still, like
Yeah.
I don't know. People just typically don't say empty nester until both, both children are out of the house and in college. You're like, I'm gonna give her that one. I'm not giving Grace anything tonight.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not.
giving Grace
Listen, I'm not.
anything.
I get what Spencer was referring to, but I don't get why. Like, I don't know. I guess Billy is just supporting of a man in her life as the other three. I guess I didn't this news that they first time they really said that, but we've been knew this. We've been knew this. We've
Right,
been knew
right.
this.
Well, and the thing is like for me, even though like that's the reason, and it very well could be the reason that they give, I'm just not going to accept it.
Me
I don't think I've
neither.
ever been like, and that's a lie. There's different things that I'm like, nope, I'm not. That's not. But I'm just not going to accept this empty nester. She can't deal with change thing. Like I'm sorry. That's just not a good. Like it's not. I don't think
To
that's
stop
her
him from
issue.
being principal, it didn't go it didn't go for me.
Yeah,
I don't see
I
why would
don't
that stop
like,
her from being like that didn't fit into her reason of not wanting Billy to be principal.
and it like just doesn't fit in with her character in general. Like all of a
No.
sudden she has this problem with change. She sent her entire son to go live in Beverly Hills. Like no, I don't
Come
think she has a problem
on.
with change.
Preach it. Preach it.
And in fact, I was just like, is this Spencer projecting a little bit? Because I feel like Spencer is actually a person that has some
Issues with
issues with
change.
change.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, so I just didn't. Yeah, the reason wasn't landing for me. Um, and I think that they're going to make. I genuinely do think that this is her reason from the writer's perspective, but it's not landing
I need
for
to be
me, and I
deeper.
don't
Yeah,
think
I
it
need it
is.
deeper. I need something else.
The only thing that is landing for me from the whole thing of what Spencer said was the fact that she cares for Billy deeply as a man in her life. And I was
Well,
just like, that's the first time we've gotten that admitted from
that's what I'm
somebody.
saying. That's the first, like, we've been new, but that's the first time we got it heard on our screen, said on our screen, like, yeah, she
That
does.
Billy and Grace have a very strange relationship. Can we just
Yeah.
call it that way?
Mm, yep.
Laura
Very.
is better than me. Laura is better than me. That's
Laura is
all
better
I'll
than a
say.
lot of us. A lot of us. A lot of us. Yes.
um Side note, these are just different things that I noticed. Number one, it was really cool to see Billy and Liv have a scene together. And I like that she challenged him on whether he actually wanted to be principal. And to be honest, to be fair, he did not have a very strong answer. And I thought that that's the direction that they were going to take it. And then he gave somewhat of an answer. But I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't, it's to Grace's point. I still don't know if I trust Billy being like, this is it for me. Like, I don't trust that.
Listen, listen. That one, okay, like, Grace reason, part of her reason of why she don't believe Billy can be principal is pretty much that the next big thing come, she feel like Billy will just blow like the wind. I agree. I feel like
Exactly.
I feel like this principal thing give him in some empowerment, so it makes
Right.
him like it for
He just
now.
likes to be, yeah, he just likes to be in
Yeah,
charge. And
exactly.
even throughout this episode it was like he likes to play principal
Come on, preach it.
because
Mm,
we haven't even seen him deal with, like, Preach dealt with the fight that occurred, not him.
nope.
So yeah, Billy likes to carry around keys and say, ooh, look at my keys, ooh,
Yes,
let me go
yes.
hire this person, ooh, Preach, you can keep your job, and this and that. But like,
Hmm.
mm, no, I don't.
Maybe they're trying to grow his character. I don't know. But I
I
understand
don't know, but
if
I
that's Grace's full reason, I 100% with her
exactly. I'm like,
reason.
they could have just kept it at that. That Billy's
Yeah.
not qualified because it's the
Yes.
truth.
And he's not stable.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not
not
stable.
qualified and he's not stable, and that is absolutely accurate. Which is why I don't do, like, that's a deeper reason and a more important reason than this whole change empty nester thing.
Yes. Cuz
It was. Oh,
we
sorry.
did
Go
him
ahead.
give him we did give him a few times almost quit being coaches. So it's like, yeah,
Right.
like, yeah, I
Right.
understand it. I understand it.
And that's the thing is. Let me say it again. Let me say it 4, 3, 4, 5 times now. I'm throwing my hat behind Miss Lawson.
Miss
I am
Lawson.
not in either Billy or Grace's corner. Okay, I'm in Miss
Hmm.
Lawson's corner. I'm not for Billy or Grace in this little argument thing. Um, but yeah, to that point, like it was just a weird reason, and Billy is pretty unstable at times. But can we talk about calling it back to Laura for a second?
Hmm.
You know who the other person that needs to get a blank check? Dr. Spears. Dr. Spears is a sports psychologist. Why are you referring your mom to a sports psychologist?
Maybe he has it more. Maybe he's more than that. Maybe just one of his specialty. Maybe
It's a very specific specialty.
he maybe have
I
more.
studied. No, no. If he is a sport, no, 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 no. That's where
You
I
don't
draw the line.
you don't know that man life. You don't know how many what he did. He probably do more than one. You don't know. Don't limit.
Okay, so he looks very young to be having 2, 3
He
degrees.
might
No,
he
it's
might
not
just
even 2 degrees. It's 3 degrees. It
he,
has to be three degrees.
he might just look young. He might be old.
That's true. But from what I know on my screen, please just you can come up with another therapist, or like they should have not had this man be a sports psychologist. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, yes, psychologists of America, I'm representing you.
Okay.
Here we go. Um, the last thing on this long drawn out storyline that needs to be just dropped is why why are they throwing around the phrase change the game? Preach said it today, and I was just like, okay, Simone.
Oh
They
goodness.
changed the game for me. Okay.
I'm about to
Okay.
say Simone definitely said that. I think is that 636?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay. Sure. Sure, preach. Sure. Um yeah, but so that was that. On to the like exciting parts of this episode. No, no.
Okay.
And
What's
honestly, the funny thing
exciting?
is, like, I hated that storyline, but I still found the episode enjoyable.
Yeah, it was. We're just
Like, it's
tired.
these are pure just like critiques of the merit of this storyline and the
It
fact that it's been
even though, yeah, even though I'm tired of storyline, I was definitely watching because I wanted to see what
yeah,
happened
yeah.
with it.
It was interesting. I was invested. It was written in a really great way. It's just that like I just
We're
this
over it.
storyline has been way past long drawn out. Like this literally connects to season one, and we why are we having storylines that connect to season in season four?
That we've been tired
Uh,
of. Hmm.
yeah, we're tired. But Spencer and Olivia.
Yes,
Spencer and Olivia. What did you think of their little saucy
it was so.
intro
Oh
scene?
my god, it was so cute. First of all, I thought he was talking to her when he was like, "Good morning."
Everybody thinks that. Was I the only one who immediately got that he was talking to
No,
himself?
yeah, you might have been because it was like, "Good morning, people." I'm like, "Oh, okay," and it was like, "Okay, wait, where he's at?" And then you just heard him keep talking. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be talking. He's gonna be doing that. What is it called? That JJ has been doing."
The Zen meditation.
Yes, I did. I was like, "Yeah, that's what he's gonna be doing." But they definitely was so cute. Oh my god, they were so cute.
Yeah, he was doing a cow cat pose, which I had to go back and see what it was called because I called it a cow toe pose in my notes. I was like, that does not sound correct. But you know what I love about All American? Like they come up with these like really nerdy, like quirky names for things like
Hmm.
Zentor or like Coop Troop, like these really weird phrases, and they just go with it. Like
Yep, they
the
stick
fact that
too.
the fact that Spencer is legitimately with a straight face calling JJ his Zentor is amazing.
Oh goodness. Hey, hey, JJ. He said JJ know what he's doing.
He does. And so Spencer was learning to use his outside voice to what is it? Control his inner peace or something like that. Um, but yeah, so they just had a cute little saucy moment and had a
They
little
did.
morning delight. I
Can we
literally
just
anything is
can
just gonna be delight after what Willie said. GW.
can we just just point out that Liv is a freak. Liv always initiate the delights in Lexi word. She always initiate it. Liv is a
I'm
freak.
blushing. I'm blushing.
Liv is a freak. Liv is a freak.
No,
I'm here
she is.
for
I'm
it.
not even
I am.
gonna. This is gonna move into like PG-13 category. I'm kidding.
That's why I said delight. Delight.
No, no, I was gonna say I'm not even gonna say like what people thought was happening at the top of. That's all I'm gonna say. If you can infer, you go ahead and infer. Okay. When Spencer was talking to Olivia. Anyway, so
Oh yes, of course. I seen it. I seen it on Twitter. I seen what people thought. I didn't think that, but obviously I seen it on Twitter what people was thinking.
it was hilarious.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think that obviously, but yeah, I didn't think that, but it was funny to see people jump to that conclusion. And then they had another little. So they were supposed to take a hike, and I think this was like the try to take time for themselves. And it's like they did get interrupted. They had this cute little moment where Grace came in, after it got ruined by the whole preach Coop Amina thing. But Spencer very quickly was just like, I brought my own detergent. Liv can
Clearly,
vouch for me. Liv can vouch for me.
yes. Clearly, Grace is like, you stop. You come here, use our detergent, and leave. Yes, clearly.
Clearly. Oh my god. Liv is my witness. I brought my own detergent. It's hilarious. Also, like, she would definitely lie for you, Spencer. So even if that was the case,
I don't know. I don't know if she lying to Grace. I don't know if she lying to Grace.
Liv is lying to Grace.
Nah,
Liv is
I
lying to
don't
Liv.
see
Liv
Liv
ain't
lying
scared
to
of
Grace.
nobody. Liv ain't
I
scared
don't
of
see
nobody.
Liv
Nope.
ain't lying to
I see it.
Grace. Mm-mm.
Nope. I see it. I see it. I
Mm-mm.
I I, I vouch. I vouch.
You got different glasses.
Uh,
I don't see it.
got different classes. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Liv would lie to Grace? I do. Carmen does not.
That's a great
Um,
question. Let us know in the comments, guys. Do you think
let us know in
Olivia
the
will lie
comments.
to Grace James for Spencer?
She absolutely would. For Spencer, she absolutely would.
Mm.
Um, and so anyway, so they had that moment. Didn't get to go on the hike, obviously, but it wasn't like the hike was never brought back up. Like it didn't seem that they were upset about it. In fact, I feel like they chose,
I'm mad that they
as
go
I
on a hike.
mentioned,
I'm
I'm
mad
mad
that
that
they
they
didn't go
didn't
on a
go on the
hike.
hike either. But I think, as I predicted, like it, they could have gone on the hike. Obviously, like things were happening, and people. There's an
Things
argument to be
always
made.
happening. Things are always
I know,
happening.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's an argument to be made that because Preach got arrested, but I still think that they could have gone on the hike just to take their mind off of it. But
Mm.
I just think that they chose not to, and it didn't seem like they were upset about it.
Yeah, they
They
wasn't.
ended up.
They definitely wasn't upset about it. We were just upset about it because it's like the whole purpose
Who's
of the
we?
hike.
I knew.
The whole purpose of the hike was to go clear their mind from what's going on in reality. Like, and they stayed in reality. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. I would have liked to see the hike though, for sure, for sure. Um, but they ended up helping Jabari very, albeit briefly, plan the art show thing, the Crenshaw
Mm-hmm.
art show. Which again, another one of my predictions, which was not correct, was I thought it was going to be like an art festival, and it sort of was, but it was more like a high school art show thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
We get what you're trying to do, Lexi. Lexi is trying to. She's throwing out wrong predictions because she realized it was on to her. That's all that is. She's doing it purposely, y'all. Don't buy into this. She realized it was on to her as one of the writers. That's all. Mm-hmm.
I feel like if that was the case, then I wouldn't have gotten the name wrong at the top with
Yeah,
the
that's
writer.
all part of your. That's all part of your distraction. It's all part of it. Yeah.
um, So, with all that being said, they had some cute little moments. We've said this. Somebody said this on Twitter. I don't know who, but it was like Liv's best outfits get like 5 seconds of screen time. Liv's outfit at the art show thing was
Mm-hmm.
slamming.
It
She
was.
looked good,
Yes.
good with a T at the end. She looked
Good.
good. Like the blue eyeshadow, it was giving. The sheer, it was giving. It was
Yes.
giving.
Yes.
Um, and they had that cute little kiss in the hallway, and then Billy was like, "Yeah, well, you know what I mean." But it's good to see, like, this is what I wanted, right? Like people reacting to Spencer and Olivia, because we don't let me get on this rant, but I'm just glad that we saw like Billy's reaction and Grace's reaction and all that fun stuff. Even though I would have preferred, instead of Dylan seeing Coop be arrested, are you still
Mm-hmm.
there?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Instead of Dylan seeing Coop being arrested, I would have preferred Dylan hang out with Spencer and Olivia. Like what?
I
Why?
would have loved to see it too. Once again, as we said in the beginning, we're over the Coop storyline. It just
We're
needs to
over it.
go so it can make room for new stuff. We need room for new
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. And to build upon the stuff that you had, like JJ wasn't in this episode, so like let's really build on JJ being an influencer or whatever. You know who was also missing that I just noticed?
Oh my God,
Asher.
Asher. We're never checking for Asher. We're never checking for him.
Nobody is checking for Asher. That's hilarious. It seems like every time Cooper or Asher is missing, like just one of them has to be missing, and the episode goes smoothly.
I noticed when Coop missing though.
But oh no, I did not. Like I totally forgot that she was missing because it just moved so smoothly, and we didn't have to hear like about the case or whatever. Like I mean, just very briefly with Patience and Laura, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like honestly though, I would have preferred whatever was going on in Asher's life over this Coop preach post situation.
I agree. I prefer him and Jamie. I would have loved
I
for
literally
him.
like,
Yeah.
give me all of the Asher and Jamie, okay? Give me
Yes.
all of the Asher and Jamie.
Yes.
Um instead of this specifically instead of the storyline, not like just in shit. But I like Jamie. I do. She's cool. She's
Yeah,
cool.
I like her. I
Uh,
actually have not his last, his little last couple appearances. I haven't
yeah,
totally
Asher's
hated.
been yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. Same here. Same here. And we'll talk about him when we get to predictions. But and Jamie, I think. But so that was that. You know who has been around Asher? Someone who was making sure that he's okay in the last few episodes.
Oh,
Layla.
she been where?
She was making sure that he was okay. They're friends.
Uh,
But
mm,
he was not in this episode. And you know who else was in this episode with Layla? Jordan.
Jordan. Jordan. Okay. Jordan. That Jordan.
JP and JP. Yeah, JP. Thank you,
Yes.
JP, for facilitating this.
For once, we actually
Look,
have.
I'm going to be unbearable, audience. So, like, bear with me, but I'm going to be unbearable.
Not. I'm gonna be unbearable. Bear with me. How do you do both? But okay. Oh goodness. Anybody who listens to this show already know that we are Jordala fans. We are.
Made a whole script about it, and look, there are several things, several callbacks to the script. That's all I'm gonna say.
Come on.
So here's what happened. JP, we saw like JP and Layla in the studio, and he was like basically giving her artists, recommending artists for her to pursue for her label. And he told her he's retiring. And a prediction again that I did, this ended up being correct, is that she did immediately think that he was dying. Layla thought JP was
Yeah.
dying. It was when Greta said, clearly he's dying.
Clearly, clearly. Because she's like, this is my dad. And my dad is not just, he's dying. He's dying. That's the only explanation that Layla says she can think of for him to just give her artists, like good artists. He was
And not
just,
only the artists, but also the masters. That's why I'm saying masters are a very specific
but
conversation.
see, it was a little more like, okay, it's my mother. He just wanted to give. But when
No,
it
I
came to
know, but
the
I'm
house
saying like
contract,
you see, she brought up the masters again though, like
hmm
because masters are nothing to play. Like masters are very, very precious, a very, very important commodity to have. So she's
hmm
again saying like he's recommending these artists. He gave me his masters. Like he's dying. He's dying. And Jordan was like calming her down after what is with like the do they not have laundry? They must not have a laundry unit at the beach house, which makes no sense because it's a literal mansion. Uh
hmm
but yeah, because Spencer's doing laundry at Grace's and
I had
JP's
that
doing
same thought.
laundry at
Like, do
Layla's.
they not have a laundry?
They must not have a laundry room, but that doesn't make sense. Like it's huge. The
I
beach house is
know.
huge and it's very modern, so I'm not understanding. Um, but anyway, yeah, they're doing laundry. Apparently, apparently Jordan uses Layla's like, was it dryer sheets?
Yes, yes, because they make his shirts feel like pillows for his pets. Feel like pillows for his pets.
Why do you have that line on lock?
I was like, Layla, did you really just
Carmen, you can't even remember people's name, and you have that line on lock.
don't copy me, Lexi? We don't know. I do, I do, I do. Oh goodness.
I
That
didn't even
one
have that line
and
on lock.
the Layla radar. What was it? A Layla radar?
A
No, he didn't say.
Ladar. It was a
Yeah,
Ladar.
Layard. Yeah, go ahead. Because he didn't say her full name. Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. So using his Ladar, Jordan very quickly um, he's just so funny. Very quickly surmised like what was going on with Layla, that
Mm-hmm.
she was freaking out. Uh, they ended up doing this whole dinner thing. Again, I'm just thinking of the script. They ended
Mm-hmm.
up doing this whole dinner thing. She cooked for her dad
Did
and
she
Jordan.
cook or did she I don't think
She
she
ordered
cooked.
takeout.
No, I think that was just like all that was vegetables. I was like, did she even cook or she just cut it up?
See, the thing is, so she might not have cooked. You're right. You're right.
I'm
I
just
thought she
joking. No,
did
no, it
cook
was a
because
joke.
she.
She steamed everything. She steamed
Oh, funny. I thought you meant like, did she order the vegetables via takeout? And I was just
No,
like, she
no.
could have.
It was
Wow, I took that at face value. I truly did. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, her dad ended up telling her that he met someone,
mhm.
and um, legitimately this was hilarious to me because JP was just like, and she's my age, well, 5 years younger, but like at least the same decade. I was just like,
Cause he know his track
that's a
records.
lot.
Yes, he know
That's
his
a
own
lot.
track record.
That's a lot. But her name is Erin, and yeah. But anyway, Layla kept freaking out about this. So then Layla and Jordan had this whole conversation about the 4 seasons of dating. What is it? It's teasing. Then it goes
Teasing,
to teasing,
cheesing, um
cheesing, pleasing, squeezing. Ha!
there you
There
go.
it is.
There you go. There you go.
And so basically what he said, giving her advice that like, your dad is serious about this person, which is why he hasn't introduced you to her. And he just wants your permission to meet her because it's serious. And
Mm.
so she took that, she talked to her dad afterwards, said that she wanted to meet this person. And her dad had a very like frank, honest conversation about, how the Keatings guard their heart and how they need to be uh, open to love and not just focused on building the empire, um,
Mhm.
things like that, which we know is like very recently something that Layla said she wants. Like she said, I want the empire. And so he was just like, not just be focused on that, but to be open to love again. Um, but yeah, yeah, her dad told her to be open to love again.
Yes.
Yeah. And you were going to say something?
Oh, I was saying that, I don't know, exactly where Jordan get all this maturity for when it comes to giving advice, but I'm loving it now. Before I was like, who is Jordan to give
But
advice?
here's the
But
thing, Carmen, though. You say this every single time that Jordan gives advice to Layla.
I know, but he just give advice and he gives sound advice.
because
Like,
he's an entirely different person.
I'm gonna say, can we do take a moment though and acknowledge his growth as a character? Like, he has
Yeah.
really grown as a character.
No, I agree. I agree. And, listen, I'm going to say this, and Jordala antis, fight me if you want on this, but this episode, I feel like we've seen it, but this episode put it in the forefront that Jordan and Layla are their best selves when they're with each other.
Aren't they? Aren't they? They're like,
Like Layla, it's we just see completely different sides of Layla, and it's really special to see because we see a side of Layla that we haven't seen before, and she's like I don't know if the word is softer, but like that's the best way to describe it. She's just very soft with, just like he's soft with her. Like we've said that before.
mm-hmm,
She's soft with him, and
mm-hmm.
it's just so special.
It's so cute. It's them. Yes, Jordala coming soon to a TV near you.
Oh
Yes,
my god!
yes. Get
What?
ready. Ready or not, here they come.
What, are you like their announcer or something? What is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you
Oh my god!
Jordala.
Oh my word! So anyway, so she leaves that conversation with her father, and then is like sitting in her room and really thinks about, it seems like it's a late night, starts to think about
It seems it's definitely late night. Definitely late night. Just gonna say he was in bed.
okay, can we talk about, like, we all American be having like 48-hour days, like in one day it's like 48 hours, so honestly timing is very confusing, just
He was
in
in
general.
bed. He was on his way to sleep. It's late.
Yeah, but also we've seen Olivia be at work at like 10 p.m. So
Don't do.
so maybe he just went to bed early. But anyway, yes,
Oh
it
goodness.
seems like it's a late night.
Yeah.
And she goes to her phone after this conversation with her dad, is thinking about calling um, calling someone. So she goes to Clay's name and decides to call Jordan instead. Uh, and she thanks him for being a good friend and for the advice and uh, what did she say? The offbeat advice. um, and all of that stuff. And then he's just like, yeah, da 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 da, blah blah, Jordan. And then he just like immediately goes into, oh, I know what you're calling about. You're calling about the seasons.
The seasons. The seasons are that important, Layla, at that time of night. But okay. Hmm.
Oh my gosh, bro. And so then he just goes into this again, this explanation of the different seasons. Um and he it's so funny because he starts off and then she like it was so funny to me that she like cut in and she was just like, yeah, then it's cheesing season.
The seasons. Yes. Like you and Simone.
What? Were you taking notes?
Like you. Does she have to refer to him as Simone? But okay, I get it. They're still
uh
just friends. Okay.
they just had a conversation. They just had a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of ended on them just talking. So what do you
Did,
think about that?
did he ever break down pleasing season?
He literally just he mentioned teasing season and was explaining teasing season, and then
Mm-hmm.
she, oh, and then I think that he mentioned teasing. What is it? Cheesing season. Oh my god, this is
Yeah.
so
So
ridiculous.
did
This is
was
so
it just
ridiculous.
me? Was it just me, or did she have a revelation of what she had with Clay? Is it just me? What's Anderson
No, no,
saying?
no. I don't think it was a revelation. I think it was more of a confirmation
Oh, okay.
because she was just like, you realize it's just a hookup, which I think that she knew and was and I think it was other people that were just like, oh, why don't you go for this guy? You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
she always was clear on what it was she wanted. It was just confirmation for her. And so, to your point, she is the one who cut in what pleasing season was. She was just like, and then it's pleasing season, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's when you decide if it's more, and then XYZ. Then he went on and it cut off as he was about to go into what pleasing season was and cheating season.
Gotcha.
Um, so anyway, that was their conversation. We already mentioned that how the episode ended, but what did you think about their conversation in general? Other than that it was cute, or is that what your thoughts were?
That was my thoughts. It was cute. Of course, it's it was. It's about time. Just yeah, that was my thoughts. It was cute. It was cute.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I will say I was cheesing throughout their scenes, but that's just me. That's just me. Like I said, though, it ended on Coop being arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And yeah, that takes us to predictions. Thanks for listening to Film Study, an All-American podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode, this review and recap, and stay tuned for our predictions for 413. Jump on it.